Shares represent percentage of ownership in a company. Shares can be broadly classified into two types. The first is the equity shares and the second is the preference shares. Equity shares are defined as long-term financing options for firms looking to raise capital. If any company wants to raise capital, the best option is to issue the equity shares because it is a long-term financing option for any company. Equity shares offer fractional ownership of a company. Fractional ownership means percentage of ownership. So by issuing the equity shares, the company is giving certain percentage of ownership to the equity shareholders. So equity shares offer fractional ownership of a company. That is a percentage ownership of a company. Equity shares, also known as ordinary shares, represents ownership of a company, and thus capital raised by issue of such shares is known as ownership capital or owner's fund. The other name for equity shares is ordinary shares, and it represents the ownership of a company, because if a person is buying the equity shares, he is buying the ownership in that company. So that is the reason equity shares will represent the ownership of a company. That is a percentage of ownership of that shareholders. And the capital that is raised by issuing the equity shares is called as ownership capital or owner's fund. The equity shareholders get the opportunity to cast their vote in major business decisions. The equity shareholders will get the opportunity to vote in major business decisions, whereas the preference shareholders will not get this opportunity. So this will distinguish the equity shareholders from the preference shareholders. So they will get an opportunity to vote in major business decisions.